What's going on, guys? Dr. Natty here from Myokinetix Physical Therapy and Performance. And today I'm going to teach you how to get your single leg plyometric back to actually feel confident when you're jumping and landing on that one leg. It's extremely crucial for any athletes who actually had ACL tear, meniscus tear, any knee injury in general, and you want to go back to your sport. My goal here is to help you thrive on your own terms so that when you get back on the field, you have full confidence, and that way you don't get injured again. Let's make this the last time you get injured on the field. All right, let's get into it. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do single leg pogos. And if you guys have been following us, you know where we did our plyometric progression with double leg pogos, which looks like this. Now we're gonna challenge you by just doing it on one leg, right? The whole point of this is to teach you how to produce force and generate force in a short distance. So we wanna go up off the ground for more than like 2 or 3 inches, right? I always like to start off with non-effective sides. So if your left side is injured, you wanna do this with the right first, so you know exactly how you're gonna feel. So single leg pogos just go like this. You can do in place first, right? And as you feel better, you want to start going forward. Just like this. And then stick your landing, right? I like to just give myself nice 5 yards when I first start. And then when I get to this point, I'll turn around, I'll do the opposite side. I'll do single leg here first, and then slowly progress, stick the landing, right? So that landing on the left side could be a lot better. So when you guys are focused on this, make sure the landing is just as important as the movement itself. So I'll do this again. Boom. Go back. Notice when I'm going this way, my heel is not touching the ground at all. I'm on my midfoot, and when I stop, I load into my hips. One more time. Here. All right, so that's it for our first progression. All right, so the next one is gonna teach you how to produce more force and get that triple extension that we always talk about. And what it is with the A skip, right? I'm sure you guys see the A skip before. A skip is pretty much a forceful march. So if you know how to march in place, like so, all you're doing is you're doing a double bounce. So you're marching and you double tap. Notice when I double tap, I treat it almost like a pogo, like so. Same thing. March, and just give a little double taps. Notice my heels are not touching the ground whatsoever. As I'm getting better at this, I want to focus on driving into the ground more so I get taller. That means I'm producing force. So it's going to be like this. Just like so. And the arm drives is just as important as the hip drive. The higher you can drive your arms, the taller you're gonna be. Another thing I want you guys to pay attention to as well, that as soon as I attack the ground, my opposite knee gonna come up on its own. I don't like to emphasize how high your knee needs to be. I want it to be automatically, right? So if I don't produce as much force, see my knee is not coming up as high. If I produce a lot of force, the knee's gonna go up higher and the arm's gonna go up higher. So this happened on its own. I'm not forcing it, right? Especially if you have history of like tight hip, we don't wanna aggravate those hips by driving it up too much. That's our A skip. So if you can do pogos, the next thing you need to do is the A skip. And let's move on to the next one. So the next one is gonna be A skip plus some jumping into a distance. So we call this apple picking, or I like to call it like Super Mario, when you used to play the Super Mario and then he's hitting the brick to get the mushroom. So with this one, it's an A skip that you're driving up. So it's gonna go like this. You're jumping up, you're landing, and you're jumping up, right? Same thing on this side. You take a step forward, drive. It's gonna teach you how to jump, how to land. And what's important about these movements is that we're training for this right now, but a month down the road, this is gonna be your warm-up. Things that used to be hard right now will eventually be your warm-up. That's the mentality I want you guys to have when you're actually trying to go back to the field. And you know that to go back on the field, you need to be able to do some triple hop, single hop, which what I'm trying to prepare you to do with these drills. Again, try to get more height, land softly, and one more, land, then push, then push, then push. So that is our Super Mario or apple picking. and let's go to the next one. All right, so now the next one is I'm gonna teach you to push off one leg, land the other leg, because this is what you're gonna need to be able to do on the field. So all we're gonna do, we're gonna get into our single leg stance, athletic stance, load the hips. You're gonna push off with one leg, land with the other leg. Push, 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 push. And you see how I'm really meticulous on my landing. The landing is just as important as the jumping itself. Same thing when I'm here, I'm loading my hips right here. I'm pushing off. I'm trying to get more air, more distance. If you guys feel like you're losing balance on the landing, guess what? Fight for that balance. You gotta learn how to compete for that good position, because when you're on the field, people are gonna be pushing you and all that stuff. You need to learn how to control your body. This drill is perfect for that. So that is our one leg hop to land on the other leg. And now we're gonna go to the next progression, which is much harder and you're gonna need to be able to do in order to pass your ACL hop test. All right, so as part of our ACL assessment, we like to measure your single leg hop, which is how far can you jump on one leg and land on the other leg compared to the opposite leg, which is your injured legs, right? And we wanna see the distance. We want that to be in a 90% relatively. So if you can do it on one leg, your surgery leg should be able to do that within 90%. What we're gonna do to teach you to get you comfortable with that is just get you to just go 1 yard at a time with minimal height and just focus on landing. Land, land. Notice that I'm landing on my midfoot, my heel's not touching the ground, and I'm really sticking that landing. Pretend you're a gymnast. Same thing, you'll load the hips first, land. The way you land is loading the hips just like you're about to jump. And as you get better at this, I want more height, I want more distance, and I want less time spent on the landing, right? So if I'm getting better at this, I want to go farther, and I want to go quicker. So that's gonna be part of your hop test, right? As you get better at this, you can go even faster, right? So I'm gonna demonstrate what I would like to do as part of my warm-up, right? So it's gonna be here, stick the landing. Stick the landing. So that will cover your single leg hop test, your triple hop, and your time hop. Another thing that you can vary is your direction of where you're going, which is your crossover hop. I demonstrate of me going straight. As part of your training, make sure you start going side to side, right? So I'm gonna show, if you're doing this, you wanna just go here first. You see I'm just kinda zigzag my way through. Because it's gonna teach you what it's like when you're not going straight, so you know how to control your landing. So you go out, in, land. Again, the landing is extremely important because the landing is gonna set up for a good jump. If my landing is not good, I can't produce as good of a force. That's all our hop progression on the ground. The last one, the bonus one, is gonna be a single leg box jump. Some of you is having a hard time doing a double leg box jump, but guess what? By the time you watch all this video, you're training, you're dedicating your time, this is the goal. The goal is to be able to jump and land on a higher surface and stick your landing. So let's get right over there. All right guys, this is the ultimate test. What we're training for is single legs box jump. How can you produce force? Land on a higher surface so that way you have to react really quickly, right? So this is one of the tests we like to do. So again, start out with a lower box where you know you can actually stick. If you're having a hard time landing, you can always start out with both legs first. Jump, land on one leg, right? So that way you get comfortable and you know what it feels like to land on one leg. Because it's not the jumping, it's the landing that people are having trouble with. Once you do that for a couple reps and you feel good, let's dive right in. Again, start out with a non-surgical leg first, so you know what it feels like. Stick your landing, hold it, step down. I like to do this between 4 to 8 reps. Again, you want to lower the reps if the box are higher. Do one more on this leg. Notice I always load my hips before I jump. We don't wanna just load the knees, load the hips. One more. Awesome. If you keep challenging yourself with all these drills, next time you take your ACL test, your hop test, you are absolutely gonna crush it. And that's the reason why we make this video. We want you to feel really confident, really strong, so that way by the time you get back on the field, all these things that we just did, it's just part of your warm-up. If you guys are new to this channel and you haven't done any plyometric progression yet, we did one where you start out with double leg and get you your first box jump back. So you're gonna click this right here. If you have a hard time getting your quads and your hips strong, check out our quad strengthening video right here. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.